That's the latest from today's campaign. We'll wait and see what happens next week in our leaders' debate.
Thanks, Gareth.
Thanks, Gareth.
Well, a former prison governor and 7 other men have been jailed for plotting to import drugs into the UK from Holland.
The gang was led by a 62-year-old career criminal who spent 40 years behind bars. But as Mark Goff reports, while the gang were plotting, their every move was being tracked by undercover officers.
Surveillance officers like to get close to their target, but they couldn't believe their luck when tracking gang member Stephen Lismore at a drugs drop in a huge supermarket car park. Of all the parking spaces he could have used, Lismore from Grantham in Lincolnshire chose one right in front of the surveillance van. They caught his every move. He's meeting accomplice Thomas Andrews. The brown box contains amphetamines smuggled in from Holland. But Lismore was just a foot soldier. His boss was this man, 62-year-old Tony Spencer from Coventry, here at Birmingham Airport, catching one of 30 flights he made to Holland. He led a gang of 8 who were going to flood the streets with cannabis and amphetamines. Among them, Jogendranath Rajkumar from Coventry. He was a former assistant prison governor turned criminal. When he was a governor, he fiddled his expenses, and when he was sacked, he turned to drug smuggling. But the gang were being watched by Warwickshire Police, the Serious Organised Crime Agency and Dutch Police. They were filmed leaving the flat they rented in Amsterdam where they tested the drugs, at the farm where they were stored, on the streets of Amsterdam, Spencer the well-dressed tourist, at the Channel Tunnel, meeting in pubs, undercover police were at the next table, and burying safes where the drugs would be stored. They planned to bring in so much in lorries, they needed a cement mixer to cut the drugs or to mix them with other powders to make them go further. Today, they were all jailed for between 2 and 5 years. The judge said they'd have got more if the drugs they had brought in had been sold on the streets or if they'd been dealing in cocaine and heroin. But police believe this was exactly what Spencer was planning to do.
If we hadn't stepped in when we did, they would have moved on to Class A drugs, cocaine, heroin, the more serious drugs. And of course there's always the threat that they will then sort of flood the market in the UK.
Spencer is a career criminal who's spent more than 40 years behind bars. Tonight he begins another 5. Mark Goff in Birmingham for Central Tonight.